Dear students, when I started online classes, directly I started from the chemical methods of concentration, because I thought that I maybe completed introduction and physical methods of concentration for all the 3 sections. But unfortunately, I have not explained introduction as well as physical methods of concentration for the B section. So now I am going to explain those 2 parts in this class. Out of 119 elements known so far, 70 and odd are metals, means remaining are non-metals. Out of 70 and odd metals, very few metals like gold, silver, platinum, mercury, even copper, they are chemically inactive or less reactive, hence they occur as a metal only, or they occur in the native state, free state or uncombined state. It means metal occur as a metal only, but not in the pure form, but in the form of ore. But what about other metals? They are chemically reactive, hence they doesn't occur in the free state or native state, but they occur in the form of compounds like oxides, hydroxides, carbonates, sulfides, sulfates, borates, acetates, oxalates, nitrates, etc. This is because these metals are chemically reactive, hence they doesn't occur in the free state, but they occur in the form of compounds. So before going for the general principles of metallurgy, first let us glance some important terms used in metallurgy. What are those important points? Points. One is minerals, second one is ores, third one is flux, or you can write it first gangue, then flux, then fifth slag, and the last one is metallurgy. So first we should highlight the meaning of these 5 points, means terms. Then we shall go for general principles of metallurgy. First, minerals. What are minerals? Minerals are the naturally occurring substance. Naturally occurring substance containing metals either in the free state or in the combined state. Either in the free state or combined state. They are called as minerals. In Kannada, it is known as ಖನಿಜಗಳು. ಸೊ ನಿಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ, ಭಾರತದಲ್ಲಿ ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಖನಿಜಗಳು ದೊರೀತಾ ಇದೆ. ಹೀಗಾಗಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಭಾರತ ಎಕನಾಮಿಕಲಿ ಪೂವರ್ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಎಕನಾಮಿಕಲಿ ರಿಚ್ ಕಂಟ್ರಿ. ಈ ಖನಿಜಗಳ ಜೊತೆಗೇನೆ ನಾವು 365 ಡೇಸ್ ಅಗ್ರಿಕಲ್ಚರ್ ಸಹ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ನಾವು. ಅದಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಭಾರತ ಸದೃಢ ಭಾರತ. ಈಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್? ಎಕನಾಮಿಕಲಿ ರಿಚ್ ಕಂಟ್ರಿ, ಬಟ್ ನಮಗೇನಿದೆ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಪಾಪ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ ದೇ ಬ್ರ್ಯಾಂಡೆಡ್ ಎಕನಾಮಿಕಲಿ ಪೂವರ್. ಸಾರಿ, because in no one country in the world we never find so much minerals, different minerals, and agriculture and others. Okay, we don't want to discuss that part. Only we shall highlight these terms. So minerals are the naturally occurring substance containing metals either in the free state or in the combined state. If a mineral contains more the percentage of metal, then metal can be extracted economically or profitably. Such a minerals are called as ores. Adirugalu. Ores are nothing but adirugalu. What are ores? Ores are the types of minerals from which metal can be extracted economically or profitably. That is called as ore. Because if the mineral contains more the percentage of metal, then metal can be extracted economically or profitably. Just to glance neighboring districts where you can get rich amount of what you can call different ores. For example, Ballari, famous for iron ores. Gulbarga, limestone, famous for calcium ore. Then Bagalkot, famous for magnesium. Belgaum, that is aluminium. Our Raichur, I say, famous for gold, Atti gold mine. Is it right? Just the neighboring districts. If you go through the neighboring districts, you are going to get so much valuable, important, what I can call ores. If they contain more the percentage of metal, then metal can be extracted economically or profitably. They are called as ores. Sir, where we should get it? From the earth crust. Bhumiya Valagade. From the earth crust, you can collect the ore, then you go for extraction. When you collect the ore from the earth crust, it contains lots of impurities. What are the impurities? Unwanted part. That is what you can call gangue particles. So what are gangue particles? Gangue particles are the unwanted particles associated with the ore. They are called as gangue particles. Maybe rocky particles, earthy particles, sandy particles, even non-metallic part is also called as gangue part. Gangue, not a Gange. Gangue. So you have to pronounce it gangue. So these are the unwanted particles associated with the ore. That means if you want to extract metal, the ore should be in pure form. But you never get a pure form from the earth crust. It contains a lot of impurities, gangue. Therefore, you have to remove the gangue. Then only you are going to get a valuable part called as ore. To remove the gangue, we need a chemical substance called as flux. So what is a flux? Flux is a chemical substance which is required to remove the gangue in the form of slag. So depend upon the gangue, you have to select the flux. For example, if ore contains acidic gangue, then you have to use a basic flux like a lime. Then it forms a slag of a calcium silicate. If ore contains basic gangue like FeO, then you have to use acidic flux like sand or silica. So then you can remove in the form of a slag ferrous silicate. So what you can say, depend upon the nature of the gangue, you have to select the flux. Therefore, Flux is a chemical reagent or a substance which is required to remove gangue in the form of slag. Then what is a slag? Just now I written. What is a slag? Gangue plus flux. But how to define? Very simple. It is an infusible residue which is obtained during metallurgical operation between flux and gangue. That is what you can call slag. Then last term, metallurgy. What is metallurgy? Metallurgy is nothing but it is an art and science or a process or a method by which metals can be extracted from its ore economically or profitably. That is what you can call metallurgy. What is metallurgy? It is an art and science or a method or a process by which metal can be extracted economically or profitably. That is what you can call metallurgy. This is about introduction of isolation of elements. Now we shall move to principles of metallurgy. You all know that if you want to extract a pure element from its ore, it involves 3 steps. That is, here I forgot to give some examples for the different ores. Yes, dear students, you please note down different types of ores. I have not given the examples. First, let us start with oxide ores. Some few examples, not more. One is hematite ore. It is the ore of iron. Magnetite ore. It is also ore of iron. That is ferric oxide. Then third one is cuprite. It is the ore of copper. Chemical composition is a Cu2O. Fourth one is bauxite. It is the ore of aluminium. Al2O3, XH2O. Then number 5, zincite. That is the ZnO. These are the few examples for the oxide ores. Is it clear? Now we shall move to sulfide ores. Example for the sulfide ore, very common, copper pyrite or chalcopyrite. Chemical composition is CuS, Fes, or you can write CuFeS2. Then second one is iron pyrite, that is FeS2, or you can write it FeS. Then third one is zinc blende, that is ZnS. The next one is cinnabar. It is the ore of mercury, HGS, etc. These are all examples for the sulfide ores. Then we shall move to carbonate ores. One is a common limestone, CaCO3. Am I right? Second one is siderite, that is FeCO3. Then number 3, malachite. It is ore of copper. Cu, CO3, CuOH twice. Then another one is calamine. It is the ore of zinc in the form of carbonate, etc. These are all examples for the carbon ores. Then halide ores. Halide ores. Common is what you can say, rock salt. Nothing but common salt. Sodium chloride. Then the second one is carnallite. It is the ore of magnesium in the form of MgCl2, KCl, H2O, bromocarnallite. MgBr2, KBr, H2O. These are the some examples for the what you can say halides. Still many are there. Just I want to highlight only oxide ores, sulfide ores, carbonate ores, and halide ores. Is it right? Now we shall move to general principles of metallurgy. Nothing but what are the steps involved in the metallurgical procedure? It involves 3 steps. One is concentration. Second one is extraction of crude metal from concentrated ore. Third one is purification. These are the 3 steps involved in the metallurgy of every metal or element, you can say. Now let us start with the first step, that is concentration. What is meant by concentration? Regularly we are using the term concentration, isn't it? To express the solutions: concentrated solution, dilute solution, very dilute solution, saturated solution. What is meant by concentrated solution? Concentrated solution is a one in which the concentration of a solute should be more. That is what you can call concentrated solution. Concentrated sulfuric acid, I am right? That is 95.5% sulfuric acid, I am right? Similarly here, what is meant by concentration of ore? It is also called as ore dressing. Ore dressing means not covering the ore with the help of dress, isn't it? Means increasing the percentage of valuable part called ore by decreasing the percentage of gangue. By decreasing the percentage of gangue. Now let us see. There are 2 straight lines of equal length, A and B. Equal length, A and B. If you want to increase the length of A, there are 2 possibilities. Extend the length of A, or by decreasing the length of B, we can increase the length of A. It means in metallurgy also, if you decrease the percentage of gangue so that you can increase the percentage of valuable part called ore, that is called as a concentration. For example, conversion of ordinary tea into strong tea or a concentrated tea. How best? What is meant by ordinary tea? Ordinary tea which contains more the amount of water and lesser the amount of tea powder, sugar and milk. Then what is the concentrated tea, strong tea, super tea? It is nothing but it contains more the percentage of milk, tea powder and sugar. But there may or may not contain what you can call unwanted part called water. Usually when we go to a hotel, we may order specialty, KT. What it means? It is prepared with only milk, sugar, tea powder. Is it right? So, how to convert that ordinary tea into concentrated tea? Very simple. What is the difference between ordinary tea and KT? Ordinary tea contains more the amount of water. That is the unwanted part. Because we want tea powder to prepare the tea. Because it contains two alkaloids, nicotine and caffeine. So, alkaloid which increases the what you can call stimulation of a CNS. It increases the stimulating agent, acts as a stimulating agent. So, we need tannin and caffeine, isn't it, which present in the tea powder. Then only we will have a pleasure to have what you can call tea, isn't it? If there is no pleasure to have a tea, then there is no meaning in taking what you can call a tea, isn't it? Similarly, when you take ordinary tea, you never feel we had a what you can call tea, isn't it? But just you take 2 or 3 sips of strong tea, you will have a pleasure, isn't it? You will be relaxed. Why you are going to relax? Because if there is any tension, just you had 3 or 4 sips of strong tea, suddenly you will be relaxed because of alkaloids. Have you got an idea? That means here how to convert that ordinary tea into super tea or a strong tea or concentrated tea. Very simple. You go on remove the unwanted part called as water. How to remove? Very simple. You go on boil it. During boiling at 100 degrees Celsius, water will get evaporated. So when it goes on evaporating, the unwanted part goes on decreases and remaining part automatically increases. That method is called as concentration. Just by decreasing the percentage of unwanted part so that you can increase the percentage of valuable part. That is called as concentration. And in metallurgy, what is meant by concentration? Very simple. By decreasing the percentage of gangue so that you can increase the percentage of ore. That is what you can call concentration. So, there are 2 methods of concentration. One is physical methods of concentration and second one is chemical methods of concentration. And in the first part of this chapter in online classes, already I completed what you can call chemical methods of concentration. Now I am going to complete the physical methods of concentration. What are going to be physical methods of concentration? The concentration means increasing the percentage of a valuable part called ore without using any chemical reagent. That is called as a physical methods of concentration. Or you can go for with the help of physical properties. If you go for concentration, then that is called as a physical methods of concentration. These methods mainly based on the nature of ore as well as the nature of the gangue. For example, there are 3 methods which are mentioned in your syllabus. One is gravity separation, called as hydraulic washing or levitation. Gravity separation, hydraulic washing or levitation. The name itself indicates gravity separation. Separation of ore and gangue with the help of gravitational force. So gravitational force depends upon the mass, isn't it? Or density, isn't it? So if you separate the ore and the gangue with the help of a gravitational force, then that is what you can call gravity separation. For that one you are using water, hence it is also called as hydraulic washing. So this method is mainly based on the difference in the mass between ore and gangue. Usually ore contains metals, so that will be heavier one. Then gangue contains what you can call lighter particles, so it will be lighter than metal. Then such a ores can be concentrated by what you can say gravity separation. For example, hematite, bauxite, etc. are concentrated by what you can say gravity separation. How to carry it? Very simple. If you take a powdered ore in a will flake tube and a current of water is passed through it, just see here. This is the powdered ore. When you allow a current of water to run through will flake tube, as a result, what happened? All the lighter gangue particles are washed off. All the lighter gangue particles are washed off, leaving behind the heavier ore particles. Leaving behind the heavier ore particles. Collect the ore, dry it. So this is very simple method called as gravity separation. How to carry it? Very simple. You take a powdered ore in a will flake tube and a current of water is passed through it. As a result, all the lighter gangue particles are washed off, leaving behind the heavier ore particles. So this is what you can call gravity separation, hydraulic washing, or navigation. Then we shall move to another method called as magnetic separation. Magnetic separation. The name itself indicates magnetic separation. That means separation between ore and gangue with the help of a magnet. It means one of them should be magnetic in nature. If both are magnetic, then also you cannot concentrate it or separate it. If both are non-magnetic, then also you cannot separate it. Therefore, this method is mainly based on the magnetic properties between ore and gangue. Means one of them should be magnetic in nature. Then how to carry it? Very simple. Allow the powdered ore, allow the powdered ore to fall over a non-magnetic belt powdered ore is allowed to fall over a non-magnetic belt revolving around the magnetic roller. This is very important. Here there may be some doubt, isn't it? One simple doubt. Sir, whether both the rollers should be magnetic? Sorry. One should be magnetic and another should be non-magnetic. Sir, what happens if both are magnetic? There is a rotation takes place. Because you all know that like a pole attract each other, unlike a pole repel each other. I am right? Unlike a pole, attract each other. Like a pole, repel each other. Therefore, what happened? There may be a vibration or there may be attraction, but there is no rotation takes place. Hence, what you have to do? It should be non-magnetic belt and this should be magnetic roller. This is the non-magnetic roller. Then what happened? When powdered ore is allowed to fall over a non-magnetic belt revolving around the magnetic roller, All the magnetic particles are attracted by the roller, hence they fall near it, and whereas non-magnetic particles falls away from the roller because they are not attracted by the roller. This is magnetic particles. This is non-magnetic particles. Is it clear? So what happened? If there will be a difference in the magnetic property between ore and a gangue, then such a ores can be concentrated by this method of magnetic separation. It is carried out easily. You take a powdered ore which is allowed to fall over a non-magnetic belt revolving around the magnetic roller. As a result, all the magnetic particles are attracted by the roller, hence they falls near it, whereas the non-magnetic particles which are not attracted by the roller, hence they fall away from the roller. This is how we are going to separate magnetic particles and non-magnetic particles. That's why I said that one of them should be magnetic in nature. Is it clear? This is about magnetic separation. And the last method, that is froth flotation process. Here you can expect one more question. Name the ore which is concentrated by froth flotation process. Very simple answer. Pyrite ore or sulfide ore. Pyrite ore or sulfide ore. Similarly, you can expect another one more question. Name the method used to concentrate the pyrite ore or sulfide ore. Froth flotation process. Immediate question arises. Why only sulfide ores are concentrated by froth flotation process? Because if there will be a difference in the wetting capacity between ore and oil as well as water. Here you all know that sulfide ores or pyrite ores have more affinity towards oil rather than water. Therefore, only pyrite ores called sulfide ores are concentrated by froth flotation process. Then how to carry out this froth flotation process? It is very simple. If you take a tank containing 3/4 of water plus powdered pyrite ore plus pine oil, small amount of pine oil which acts as a floating agent, and a small amount of xanthates. This is the organic substance which increases the affinity between pyrite ore and oil. Is it right? So this big tank containing 3/4 of water, powdered pyrite ore, small amount of pine oil which acts as a floating agent, and small amount of xanthates which increases the affinity between pyrite ore and oil. Then a current of air is blown inside the tank. A current of air is blown inside the tank. As a result, what happened? Mixing takes place thoroughly, isn't it? Because of current of air, what happened? Mixing takes place thoroughly. And you all know that all the pyrite ore particles are wetted with pine oil because there will be affinity. Along with the air bubbles, it makes a froth which floats over the surface of water. That's a froth, I say, which is lighter than water, therefore, which floats over the surface of water. And what about the gangue? Gangue particles are wetted with water and settles at the bottom because it is heavier one. It is heavier than water, therefore that settles at the bottom. Decant the froth, squeeze the oil and dry it. We are going to get only sulfide ores. So this is called as froth flotation process. Once I will repeat it, listen here. This method is used to concentrate only pyrite ore or sulfide ore because of difference in the wetting capacity between ore particles with oil and water. Generally, sulfide ore particles have more affinity towards oil. Therefore, we are going to concentrate pyrite ore by froth flotation process. It is carried out by using a tank containing 3/4 of water, powdered pyrite ore plus small amount of pine oil which acts as a floating agent and a small amount of xanthates which acts as or which increases the affinity between sulfide ore and pine oil. Then a current of air is blown inside the tank. As a result, mixing takes place thoroughly. As a result, complete ore particles are wetted with the pine oil along with the air bubbles. It makes a froth which floats over the surface of water, whereas gangue particles are wetted with water and settles at the bottom. Collect the froth, squeeze the oil and dry it. As a result, we are going to get pyrite ore. Yes, this is about dear students, 3 physical methods of concentration. One is hydraulic washing, nothing but a levitation, nothing but a gravity separation. Second one is magnetic separation. Third one is a froth flotation process. So this is about physical methods of concentration. Next part is the chemical methods of concentration and second step of the metallurgy that already I explained in the part 1, part 2 and other parts, isn't it? So please go through it. Thank you.